In GameMaker Studio 2.3, structs were added. A struct is simply a collection of variables. Previously, if you wanted to make such a collection, you had to use arrays, but now you can use structs. So in this video, we're gonna look at how I used to set up data for my items using arrays, and then we're gonna look at how we can use structs and constructors to make a much better system. If you wanna skip straight ahead to the structs part, then you can go to this timestamp. And now let's take a quick look at how it was done in the previous version. Previously in a script, we would have an enum, and that enum would have all of our items. So here we have sword, bow, bomb, and potion. Then we would have another enum for the item data. So these are the properties that an item can have, for example, name, price, and attack power. And then to actually set the data for each item, we would create a global 2D array called something like item data. Here you would enter the item ID, then the item data, and then you would set the actual property of that item. So as you can see here, we are setting the name of the sword. Then in the same way, we could set the name of the bow and then the other properties. Now when we had to get a property for an item, we would have to read it from the same 2D array like this. And this is basically how it works and how I used to do it. Now let's see how we can make a much better system using structs and constructors. If you're not familiar with structs and constructors, I've made a video on them, so you can open it from here. I suggest watching that video first if you don't know how constructors work. Now in this project we have two scripts, one for the item classes and the other for the item types. Let's open the item classes script, and here we have a constructor function called item. So this is our base item class, and all of the other items are going to inherit from this. Here we have the default properties of an item as variables. So previously where we had to store the item data in an array using an enum, now we can just use variables. So whenever you make a struct from this constructor, it's gonna have all of these variables inside it. Now in the item type script, we have all of our item types, which are simply their own constructors inheriting from the item constructor. So here we have the constructor for the sword. Of course, it's inheriting from the item constructor. And inside the constructor, we have all of our variables. So we have the name, price, and attack power, and they are set specifically for the sword. Then we have constructors for the bow and the bomb with their own properties, and they are all based on the item class. But we can easily add more classes if we want to make different kinds of items. So back in the item classes script, I have a new constructor called potion, and this is inheriting from the item constructor. So if you want to add any potions, they can use this class, and this can have its own different variables. For example, the default attack power for potions is set to -1, and we have two new variables called HP add and stamina add. That's how much the potion adds to the player's HP and stamina. Now going into the item type script, we can inherit from the potion constructor to make a new kind of potion. So here we have a health potion. I've set up the name and the HP add value. So this is how you can basically set up your items using constructors. But now the question is, how can the player collect these items? For this, we're going to create a basic inventory in the player. So I'm going to go into the player objects, and in the create event, I'm going to create a DS list for the inventory. Of course, make sure to destroy the lists in the cleanup event. And back in the create event, we are now going to add a couple items into this inventory. So I'll run DS list add on the inventory, and here create a new struct from the sword constructor. So this creates a sword struct and adds it to the player's inventory. And then we can do the same thing to add a bow to the inventory. Now we want to see what's in the inventory, so I'm going to add the draw GUI event for that, and here I'll run a for loop to draw every item in the inventory. In the loop, we are simply getting the item from the inventory, then calculating where it will be drawn, and then simply drawing it with draw text. When you run the game, you're gonna see the contents of your inventory here. These are structs, as you can tell by these brackets, and in them you can see all the properties of the items. So you have the name, price, and attack power for both the sword and the bow. So now we have a working inventory which has a struct for each item, but now we wanna know how we can collect items from pickups like these. Back in the project, I have a new object called oItemParent, and this is the parent of two other objects, oSword and oBow. I'm gonna go into oBow, and here in the create events I have this. I'm simply making a new struct from the bow constructor and storing it in a variable called item. So this is the item struct that belongs to this pickup. When the player collides with this pickup, their struct will be added to the player's inventory. Now in the sword object, we of course have the same variable, creating a struct from the sword constructor. Now we're gonna go into the player and here add a collision event with the item parent. So since we have a parent, we can just use that and don't have to make separate collision events with the sword and the bow. Now in this event, we are gonna be colliding with an item, and you can get that item instance through the other variable. So we're gonna run ds_list add on the inventory, and in that list, we are gonna add the item from the other instance. So this way the item struct from the other instance will be added to the player's inventory, and then we can simply destroy that other instance. Now before testing this, I'm gonna go into the create event and remove the default items from here. And now I'll run the game. I'll go and touch the bow pickup and it gets added to my inventory. Now I'll go and touch the sword and it also gets added to the inventory. So it's all working. Now there is a feature that you should know about, which can be very useful if you're gonna be using constructors. In a constructor, you can also create methods or functions, and this is a very powerful feature. This means that your items are not just a collection of data, but they can also perform their own logic and functions. So for example, in the item constructor, you can have a function called effects, and this can be used to apply the effects of the item onto, say, an opponent. Now this can be empty in the base item constructor, but it can be defined for each item type specifically. So in the sword here, I'm gonna define the function, and this is gonna take only one argument, which will be the opponent. And in the function, we can define what this item does to the opponent. So here it's reducing the HP and the stamina. And similarly, we can define an effect function in the other item constructors. Then later, to use the function, you can simply get the item from the inventory and run the effect function on it. Now this was only a small example, but this shows how you can use constructors to create not only collections of data, but collections of functions. Now there is a slightly different way of making this system that I want to talk about. The difference in this new system will be that you won't have to create new structs all the time. So here I have a new script called item list, and in this script I have an enum with all my items. So yes, the system makes use of enums and arrays once again, along with our constructors. So here I have a global array where I'm storing the struct for each item. So I'm making those new structs here, and whenever I want to use an item in the game, I can just get the struct for that item through this array. So this means I'm not repeatedly creating and destroying structs for an item, and that there's only one struct for each item stored in this array. Of course, there are a lot of different ways of doing this, so keep playing around and experimenting with the new GML. If you want to learn more about the world of GameMaker, you can check out my courses on Udemy. My recent course on making a crafting game is the highest rated in the GameMaker category, so check it out through the link in the description. As always, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.